Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, welcome to the June meeting of the Greencastle Common Council. Linda, can you call the roll, please?
Councilor Mark Hammer.
Here.
Councilor Adam Cohen.
Yo.
Councilor Stacy Langdon.
Here.
Councilor Veronica Pedrell. Councilor Cody Eckert.
Here.
Councilor Dave Murray.
Here.
And Councilor Darrell Thomas.
Here.
Our first item of business is a presentation by Dr. White. Dr. White is, for the benefit of our folks at home, is the newly appointed 21st president of DePaul University. She began her term on July 1st, 2020. Prior to that, she served as the Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs and a Professor of Practice at Washington University in St. Louis. She was born and raised in San Francisco, earned her undergraduate degree in psychology and English from the University of California at Berkeley, and a PhD from Stanford in educational administration and policy analysis, with an emphasis on higher education. She and her husband, Anthony Tillman, are both career educators with a deep passion and commitment for student access, equity, and success. And finally, as COVID wanes, we are glad that you could come and join us tonight and introduce yourself to council, although I think most have met you already, but maybe say a few words about your vision for DePaul since taking over.
Sure. Well, thank you so much, Mayor Dory, and thanks all of you for inviting me to say a few words, and I certainly am open to answering any questions that you might have. And I want to start first with a big thank you for the very warm welcome that my husband and I have received from all of you and from the members of the city and the town welcoming us to Greencastle 2 years ago. As you can tell from the bio that Mayor Dory read about me, I'm originally from San Francisco, California, and I have lived my entire life in big cities: San Francisco, Los Angeles, Dallas, and then I moved here most recently from St. Louis. So I had a bit of trepidation about what it would be like to move to a much smaller town. And I need to let you all know that my husband and I have really fallen in love with Greencastle. I love the fact that we can walk everywhere, particularly given the price of gas these days. I have found, of course, my two favorite ice cream places, one right around the corner from the Elms where Tony and I live, and of course one in downtown. And I very much enjoyed eating at several of the restaurants, both downtown and in town. So my husband and I have really enjoyed the last 2 years here. And the last time I had the chance to talk with you all for a little bit was on Zoom, because I had just arrived at DePaul, and of course we were in COVID. So it's really nice to have the opportunity to see all of you in person. And I also want to thank you for the wonderful inauguration celebration and your partnership with the university. It was wonderful for all of my family and friends to drive into town and to see all those beautiful banners celebrating our inauguration. Mayor Dory, I really thank you for being a part of the inauguration program and for reading the proclamation, letting folks know the land upon which our town sits, and then also declaring my inauguration day Lori White Day. So thank you so much for all of that. So the relationship between DePaul and Greencastle is so important. And I hope that it continues to be a mutually beneficial relationship between the university and the town of Greencastle. A thriving town is so important to our ability to recruit students to the university. They want to come to a place that they feel has things for them to do. Their parents want to send their kids to a town that is safe and they know will wrap their arms around them. And certainly, we just celebrated Alumni Reunion Weekend last weekend, and we have the next one coming up this weekend. The town is a place where so many of our alumni forged so many great memories, and they look love being able to come back and walk down memory lane, grab a GCB, and thinking about all the places that they hung out when they were students. And so this town is really, really important to the heart of DePauw and the university. And of course, there are so many things that we depend upon you all for. We appreciate the support for security, for extra backup to the DePauw Police. We appreciate that you are our fire station, and so if something happens on campus, and I understand in the past we have had a couple of fires, and so knowing that you all will respond is really, really important to us. And then I also hope that you all see value by having a world-class university right in the middle of the town, and the opportunity for folks who live here to take advantage of arts programs, of music programs, of coming to our athletic events. And in fact, right now, we have a camp going on, and there are a number of kids that are participating in that camp. And so all of those things, I hope, continue to be important for both sides of us. Wanted to talk to you about some of the things that are going on campus, and then happy to answer some questions for you. So I mentioned, of course, that we just had our alumni reunion weekend. That was 700 people that poured into town to renew old acquaintances and then also take advantage of restaurants and First Fridays and just walking around. And so we are welcoming 300 additional alumni this weekend, and so you will see them wandering about. We had to do 2 alumni reunion weekends because there were 2 years where we were not able to gather in person, and so we had classes, I think, of 35 and above, not age 35, but celebrating their reunion year 35 and above last weekend, and then the youngsters are coming this weekend, so look out for that. I'm sure they are going to have a good time. We just finished our admission season, and I know that one of our council members was the longtime Dean of Admissions at DePauw, and in those days, the environment was a little bit different than it is now. We are in quite a competitive environment for college admissions. In fact, I read an article the other day that said there are 1 million fewer students who applied to college in this last cycle than applied pre-pandemic. So we were already aware that there was going to be a demographic cliff, so fewer traditional age students applying to college, 18 to 22-year-olds. And then because of COVID, there are a number of kids who have decided for a whole host of reasons that they don't want to apply to college. So in the midst of that, after 2 years of challenging enrollment for us, we had a class 2 years ago prior to my arrival of 400 students, and then in COVID we had a class of little under 400 students, 375, 380. So the good news for us is the class that we recruited a year ago is 500 strong, so the class of 225 has 500 students, and the class that we have just recruited, the class of 2026, we believe is going to be between 525 and about 540. And the reason I say we believe is because students send in their deposit on May 1st, and then there's still the opportunity for other universities to continue recruiting and poaching students, and so we don't know if the number when they show up in August is going to be the number that deposited, but we're pretty confident between 525 and 545. So we are on an upward trend, which is really exciting news for all of us, and I think flies in the face of the challenges that I just talked about in terms of many other universities struggling to enroll students. So feeling pretty good about that. As part of our alumni reunion weekend, one of the things that we do during that weekend is we celebrate some of our alumni who we believe have contributed so much to leadership and service. And one of the alumni that we celebrated is Joyce Green. She was awarded the Old Gold Goblet, which is the highest award that we award to our alumni at DePauw. And the reason that I'm mentioning Joyce is all of you I know are well familiar with all of the investments that Joyce and her husband Judson have made in our town, and so I just wanted, for the record, for all of us to thank Joyce and congratulate her on winning the Old Gold Goblet. We have also been spending quite a bit of time strategic planning, and so at your place you have a copy of our strategic planning brochure, and our strategic plan is focused on reimagining the liberal arts university for the 21st century. DePauw is the top-rated liberal arts university in the state of Indiana, and we are one of the top 50 liberal arts universities in the entire country. We are number 46. I'm competitive, so at the end of my time as the president of DePauw, I hope we're at least in the top 25, but it's good to be in the top 50, and it's good to be the top liberal arts college in the entire state. It's also important that we think about how we can stay relevant for the students who are thinking about college today and preparing them well for jobs of today, jobs of tomorrow, and jobs that aren't even yet imagined. I won't tell you my age, but most of us went to college before things like computers and the internet and all of the tools that students of today have available to them. And so we can't think that the universities that we were attracted to will be attractive to students in the same way. So I think it's imperative that we think about ways in which we can change to be much more relevant to the students of today and tomorrow and the future. So our strategic plan has 4 overarching goals. One is academic renewal. I'll spend a little bit of time talking about that. The second one is an exemplary student experience. The third is institutional equity. And the fourth is flourishing university. So I want to spend a couple of minutes talking about goal number 1, the academic renewal, and then goal number 4, flourishing universities. And it isn't that I want to give short shrift to the other 2, but goal number 1 is one where we've gotten quite a bit of attention. So I want to spend a little bit of time talking about that. And goal number 4, flourishing university, specifically speaks to our relationship with the town of Greencastle. So I want to talk a little bit about those 2. So with respect to academic renewal, the bold move that we are going to make at DePauw is we are going to establish 2 brand new schools to surround our College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. So we are establishing a School of Business and Leadership, resting solidly on the foundation of a liberal arts education. We know that many students, when they search for college majors, search by major. So many students plug in business, and even though we've got an economics major, and even though we are so successful in graduating many CEOs and leaders of many major corporations, many of whom you all are familiar with, because we don't have a business major, many students don't bother to apply to DePauw. And so we think it's really important that we let prospective students know that not only have we had a history of graduating really successful leaders in the world of business and service, that they can come to DePauw and get a really good education in business that's founded on the foundation of the liberal arts. And then we are also establishing what we are calling the Creative School. So as you know, we have a School of Music. And so the School of Music will become part of the Creative School. And the idea behind the Creative School is to define creativity in its broadest sense, music, art, dance, film, creative writing, and to think about all of the tools that people use to tell stories, because that's what young people do when they are thinking about being influencers, when they are thinking about innovating and developing the newest product that they want to bring to market, when they're thinking about writing a story or creating something brand new. They think about how it is they can utilize all of these creative tools and juices, and so that is going to be the core of the new Creative School. And then, of course, we want to continue to strengthen and center the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, because that is the core of DePauw and has been the core of DePauw for the last 185 years. So the new School of Business and Leadership will open a year from this fall, so in the fall of 2023, and the Creative School will open in the fall of 2024. So I'm out there fundraising. I announced 2 big gifts that I've already received, each $20 million to help support the School of Business and Leadership, and I've also received some other gifts in support of the Creative School and the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. So let me talk a little bit about Flourishing University. So when we first started talking about the strategic plan, we started talking about the strategic plan from the lens of survival. How can we survive as a liberal arts university in this very competitive admissions environment, looking at many of the liberal arts universities who are really struggling and are probably not going to survive. And then we took a step back and said, we have so much to build on at DePauw. We are an outstanding university. We have outstanding alumni. We have resources that many other liberal arts colleges do not have. We need to talk about how we can flourish well into this 21st century and the next, not just survive. And so the flourishing goal is really all about that. How can we attract the best, brightest, and most talented faculty, staff, and students to DePauw? How can we make sure that we continue to encourage our alumni to give their time, their treasure, their talent, and their testimony to DePauw? How can we continue to protect our very important resource, which is our endowment? And how can we make sure that the relationship between the university and Greencastle continues to flourish? And with respect to that, we want more of our employees to live here in the town. And I just hired 5 new vice presidents over the last 2 years. Each one of them wants to live here in the town, and each of them has struggled to find a house to buy. And so we want to be able to work in partnership with you to think about what are some creative solutions to that. Do we engage in a partnership to build more housing? Do we invite a developer to develop on our land and then rent it to our employees at a less than market rate? Those are all the kinds of things that we need to be thinking about, and also thinking about what properties that we own that we can return back to the tax roll of the town. We've done that already, and so that's really important to us to make sure that those folks who work at the university, particularly those who really desire to live here, are able to do that. And so we don't yet have a concrete plan, but I think that's something that we can be working on together. So I will stop there, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you all might have. And I know you also have a long agenda and folks in the audience who have questions of their own for the council. So I will stop. But thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you. Actually, Dr. White, you hit on 2 key themes right away, and I loved it because you opened. One, you talked about our safety services. I was here for the Rector fire, and it's probably one of the scariest, maybe the scariest night I've ever seen. And I'm sure you're aware of it, but DePauw has been a great donator to our fire department, to our police department. I mean, we have 3 policemen on duty, and it's a long way till we get back up. And as long as we continue to do that, that's awesome. We have wonderful volunteer firemen in the county, but the next nearest full-time fire department comes to us from Plainfield.
Wow. Yeah.
John's here tonight, so that's our fire chief. That's a scary thing. So when you and Travis are so generous to our departments, we need that help.
Yeah. It's important.
It's important. We saw what happened in Texas. It'd be our 3 policemen that would be responding. So, but then when you flipped it, because part of that is the tax base.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And, I know the number 1 call I get from DePauw employees is, help me find a place to live.
Correct.
So it's a problem at all levels in our town. So anything we can do and support to get more housing here
Yes.
isn't just going to help DePauw, it's going to help our tax base. It's going to help every single business in our town.
Absolutely.
I mean, every business in this town is hurting for employees right now, and we need them.
Yeah.
So,
And let me clarify what I said when I said, maybe we could build something and rent for less than market value. I think about our employees who aren't at the top of the pay scale.
Yeah.
And so I just want to clarify that we want to make sure that we're equitable as we think about
I understand what
providing
you're saying.
housing.
I mean, it's our vice presidents on down need housing, and anything you can do to bring those people into our community where they'll spend the money, taxes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Just improves everyone's quality of
And
life.
the better financial position the university has in terms, and that means drawing more students to the university, the more we can employ people, and the more we have people here that are spending money in the town. So that makes sense for all of us.
The last time I looked, a new child moving into Greencastle brings over $5,000 to the school corporation. having more people be able to live here and work here.
Absolutely.
It's a little tough. I'm old, so when I came here, it was common for one man or woman to be working at the university, and now you have so many two-parent households out there, and they're living in Plainfield to split the distance between Indy and here, and anything we can do to encourage people to live and work here. DePauw folks have been instrumental in helping us improve this community when a lot of small cities are dying all across the country. This one is thriving because of the investment that you and DePauw alumni have made, and we really need to continue that momentum as much as possible. So,
Well, it is most definitely mutually beneficial.
no question. So one of my questions that I wrote when I went on your prospectus online, I said, is there a campaign coming? And I see in the fall of 2023, we're going to talk about a fundraising campaign.
Well, new presidents do two things. They launch a strategic plan and they launch a campaign. So we've not launched a campaign yet, though I am sure we will launch one during my tenure. In order for us to compete effectively, as I said, I want to be top 25. If you look at the top 25 liberal arts colleges, their endowments are dwarf ours, even though ours may dwarf some of the other smaller liberal arts colleges. And so for us to compete effectively with those institutions for students, it's important that we continue to grow our endowment.
The other thing I want to invite you to come back and talk more about at some point when the time is right. This is a forum broadcast throughout Putnam County, and you are going to look at employee compensation and
Yes.
benefits and all of that. I had occasion to have a member of your maintenance staff clear out stuff behind 433 Anderson Street. We have a bishop coming in on Monday night. They were very responsive, but they're understaffed, and we have a microphone that when you get to that point, we may be able to help you.
That is great.
The person who did this for both of us said, I've got 3 positions now, full-time positions, and anything you can do to get the word out on our maintenance staff, we may be able to at least be a forum for some of that conversation.
We appreciate that because, like all employers across the country, we are finding it challenging to hire employees, and we're a great place to work, as you all know. We've got great benefits, particularly for those folks who have children that are college age. They would be eligible for our tuition benefits, and we're just a great place to work, right? My colleagues that are here joining me. So those out there that are listening to us, if you have any interest in working at DePauw.
Travis has said this before, independent of you. So
Good, very good. Thank you. Please do go look on our website or connect with any of the folks that currently work at DePauw, and we'd be happy to talk with those folks out there about our opportunities. Great. Well, thank you so very much. Really appreciate all of you. Thanks for saying hello to me in the grocery store and on the square, and I hope you really will take advantage of all of the wonderful things that are happening on campus. So thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
thank you.
We'll be disturbing your neighborhood in a few weeks again with the fair parade.
Oh, good. Love that. Love that. Thank you.
Next item of business is public petitions and comments, and I believe we have a gentleman here to request a street closure for Fifth Street. You want to step forward and introduce yourself? I'm sorry I didn't write down your name, but...
Larry Dickerson.
Yeah, Mr. Dickerson. Go ahead.
I'm going to see if I can get Avenue 5th Street closed down from E to D again this year on July the 3rd.
We did this last year,
I was
right?
going to say, this is the same block we did last year.
Yes,
And July 3rd, not the 4th?
yes.
We didn't have any complaints last year, I don't think, did we?
Nope, I ain't having no plaints. But I need it from 10 o'clock in the morning to 12 o'clock. I shut down last year
Midnight,
at
I
10
assume.
o'clock. And it didn't give me enough hours to get it all cleaned up. So I want to see if I can do it from 10 to 12.
Anything we can do to encourage I think if there's a third annual, and hopefully there is, and a fourth and a fifth, please be sure to get the form filled out.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, what I'm doing, why I come early, because I got more stuff I want to do this year, and I need time to I need to know if I'm getting it, or do I have to move on to find something else.
9 times out of 10, we're going to approve stuff if there was not a problem before. I won't say 100%, but this is a council that will default to yes. I think it's fair to say we'll do everything we can for neighborhood stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Anything to get people out and meeting their neighbors and
Yeah.
interacting.
I got new neighbors, though,
Okay.
and I told them they were welcome to come.
Well, hopefully.
Plenty of food.
Yeah.
with the same, I'll make the motion with the same caveats. You tell your neighbors, you know, try to limit the noise pointed at their houses, and I don't know. Something I'm missing, Dave, from last year? Mark, I'm trying to remember.
Is there going to be music?
Yeah, but not
Like a
very,
boom
not
box.
loud.
It's not live music, but
Yeah,
just like
not,
a...
no.
Are we paid up?
Yeah, I think so.
Paid up.
Yeah. And no alcohol will be
No,
sold.
there ain't no alcohol.
I'm sure people will be consuming, but be their own.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we got a
Sure.
motion?
I don't think, it's Veronica's district. She's not here tonight,
Yeah.
right?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the street closure request on July 3rd for Fifth Street from 10 to midnight. Any further questions or discussion?
That's between E and D.
Yep.
Is it inclusive of those intersections, or will D and E be still open?
It's just D to E.
Okay, without
Just still
closing,
street.
so the east-west, you'll be able
Yeah,
to still go down D and
everything-
E both?
Yeah, E's open and D's open.
Okay,
Do
all
we,
right.
do we have Putnam County Comprehensive Services still in that area,
Yeah,
employees?
they're right across the
So,
street from
yeah.
me.
Yeah,
Was there a problem last year?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
We stayed off at his property and had no problem.
Well, as is typical, we do ask you to notify the neighbors and things like
Right.
that, so.
so they can get cars moved out if they have, that's the only access they have to their home, or be able to, their vehicles getting out, so they have to be able to, so, okay.
Any further questions? Hearing none, please indicate your approval by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstention?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, are there any other further public petitions or comments for items that are not already on the agenda?
Did you take,
We're going to add a D to her.
Oh, you'll be added to the street closure.
Yeah, we're gonna
Anybody else, sir?
Keith Eisenberg. I'm not here for stop signs this time, Mr. Mayor. We'd like to get the streets closed in Woods Edge, certain areas, for a little fireworks celebration on July 3rd.
Did you fill out a street closure?
Yes.
I was going to say,
Okay,
Yep.
okay, so you're I just want to make sure there wasn't anybody else who wanted to come up for it. So
She's good.
is there anybody else who has anything not on the agenda? Okay, go ahead.
So we put on a little fireworks thing every year over there, and just more and more people stop by. So we'd like to get the intersection shut down up there. If we could get Zinc Mill shut down coming in on the south end, and then at Briarwood over in the new subdivision, Briarwood Court, and approximately 51, Jim, what's your address? 51? 51, Jim? Cedarwood Drive. Put one right across there. That way it gives us that intersection right there. We had about 100 and some people show up last year for the fireworks display. So
fireworks?
the wife and I take it on, spend a lot of money, and have a good time.
Okay, and this will be...
On July
again,
3rd.
On the 3rd, okay.
Yes.
Can we approve?
Other questions or concerns? This won't isolate any of the streets back there, will
Not
it?
at all.
Okay,
Not at all.
okay, good.
Can we approve fireworks?
I can't approve fireworks, that's a state fire marshal.
So we can approve the street closing?
Exactly.
Just so we're clear.
Everything I do is safe to everything, no illegal.
Sir, I'm not
no-
in any way questioning you.
Gotcha.
I'm just making sure we understand, without our attorney here, with the scope of what we're allowed
3rd
to
of July celebration.
We are
We are
not,
allowed to do so much.
we are not
It's in your
approving,
packet.
yeah.
And his street closure was in your packet.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are not approving, you have to work that out with the fire chief and the
Gotcha.
fire marshal.
Gotcha.
I printed
State
out
fire
all
marshal.
34 pages in my packet and left it on my
He
desk,
was in the packet.
so.
Keith, I appreciate you giving me a heads up. We
sorry.
spoke on the phone, so
Thank you,
I
Cody.
appreciate that, and I'll make the motion to approve your street closure.
Thank you.
Holly will second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve the requested street closure. Are there any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, please indicate your approval by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Okay.
Thank you.
Good to go.
Thank you.
Usual conditions of, talk to the neighbors and things, but
You
it
got
sounds like they're all invited already.
They're all invited. You guys are too, if you want to. Come on
Okay,
over.
well, thank you
Everybody
very
else
much. I'm going to call on one of our own, Greg, for our Rokiki 5K run.
Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
All right, good afternoon or evening, members of the council. This is for the Mike Rokicki, I believe, the 28th annual 5K run and walk on Monday morning, July 4th, with registration beginning at about 7:30 and the race beginning at 8. The route is different than in years past. Dave Balt, my maintenance supervisor, and myself charted the course on Monday, and it's exactly 3.1 miles, which is the standard distance for a 5K. It starts at the east entrance of the park and heads north on Wood Street and then east on Washington to D Avenue, all the way out to Warren Drive, where that is the first location where we're hoping to have law enforcement guidance to get runners across the road onto the pathways, and then slightly south down the pathway back onto the pathway across Veterans Memorial Highway, and take the pathways southwest to Percy Julian, and then cut back across again where we would request law enforcement guidance to get the runners across to Percy Julian, and then back to Washington, to Hammond, Gardenside, and back home. And the start and the finish line are in the same location.
As long as Tom and John are okay with it.
I just shared it with Tom. Be happy to answer any questions.
If Tom is comfortable with it, I make a motion that we approve the request.
I will second the motion. How is the registration? How many people have signed up so far, do you know?
Last time I checked, there were like 2 or 3, but I had people asking me about it tonight at the pool, so the interest is definitely there.
Definitely.
And I would imagine we'll have a lot of walk-ups.
How do people sign up?
2 or 3.
No, where can they sign up?
They can go on the park's website, greencastleparks.com, and register, and they can register the day of the event.
We just put the flyer on the city Facebook page here the last day or so, too. So.
I was just asking that for the benefit of the people
Right.
at home watching.
Any further questions or discussion? Hearing
How
none?
many years has this been going on?
What's that, sorry?
How many years?
This is 28, I think. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, please indicate your approval by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Okay, thanks, Greg.
Greg, while we have you up here,
Yes.
and it's not unique to Greencastle, but can you comment on the lack of lifeguards? You thought you had a full staff and were closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, and is it a matter of money? Is it a matter of?
No, then,
Okay.
thanks for the question. No, we had 22, we lost 4. They decided they didn't want to work, as a lifeguard, which put scheduling, made it a little bit more problematic. We have a number of lifeguards. By the way, they're doing a fabulous job, absolutely fabulous. But they have camps, they have summer school, they have vacations, and when we have, you really can't deny a kid the opportunity to go on vacation or to attend a football camp or an academic camp. That creates a difficult time of scheduling certain hours in the day and things like that. And we, rather than tax the guards that remain, and we felt like that was putting them in a situation where they were working basically overtime, which can create safety issues. And that's our number one priority, is to make sure that they're fresh and they're alert. And that's, in essence, where the decision came from. Now, if we do have, I think, 3 or 4 applications for lifeguards. Now, whether that allows us to open up an additional day, I don't know. Krista would make that decision. But if we get to the point where we feel like we're fully staffed and we're able to increase our usage, we will certainly do that.
Greg, did you also mention the 15-year-old issue that we're running
Yeah,
into?
that's where I was going next.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what question you were.
I think Krista mentioned it. We have a large number of 15-year-olds this year, and they're limited on the number of hours
They can work.
So that's also aggravating the scheduling hours as well to some degree.
And they can't work past 9 o'clock at night or something like that.
Right, and I do know that of the 3 or 4 applications, they're the younger variety. There is one that came in that I saw that, I don't know if this person's interested in lifeguarding, but it's a 20-year-old student from Anderson University, so that's somebody we will certainly reach out to. That just came through this morning.
Thanks.
I think
pleasure.
the other thing that, when we had kind of end-of-the-season interviews with the lifeguards last year, there was a lot of frustration because we were working them really hard, because we were open 7 days a week. Virtually every night we had a party. So that was also a big frustration of the guards last year, so.
And, and this was mentioned at the park board meeting last night, and I was not aware of this, that, and we obviously wish we weren't in this situation, but we're making the best of it, and once the people get to the pool, they're having a great time. But Indianapolis has 17 public pools, and I think they said last night that they opened 8 of them.
That's right.
So there are struggles everywhere to get lifeguards and employees and things like that for summer help. So it's not limited to us. We just wish we weren't on that list. And we'll make things better, and hopefully a year from now things are a little bit different. But the lifeguards are. I was talking to Matt Williams just before I came over. I was at the pool, and he is absolutely thrilled with what he is seeing from our lifeguards. So.
But it's not a matter of money.
No,
Okay.
it's not.
Okay. Thank you.
Dr. White was just here, and I wonder, it won't help us this year, if there's a way to creatively approach this with DePaul, if they would let our students stay in the dorms for the summer, if they worked at our city pool, maybe for free, or if there's a way to, I mean, I'm just thinking way outside the box. We have a lot of students that
Well,
right
it's-
now doing,
I don't think it's outside the box, because I'm going to add that to my list, because I already have the goal of meeting with the Bonner Scholar
they're not-
representatives.
they don't have, a lot of them are not certified.
No,
Okay,
this is
yeah.
for the Spark program.
Oh, yeah.
That we're getting phone calls up on a weekly basis up until last week. And that's a program, from my understanding, we haven't had it for over 2 years, but it was really, really popular.
Well, look me up when you
So-
want to meet with them, because the other option could also be, again, just outside the box, is we have a lot of students doing research on campus. I know at least half a dozen of them are lifeguards, currently not employed by us. And I don't know if there's a way they can do some evening stuff for us. They're college age, so they can do, I don't know. I just wonder if this is not an area, since we just had the presentation,
Yeah, I
that
think
we
it's,
can't look to do some bonding.
yeah, I think that's a great idea. Is somebody else handling the 4th of July?
Yeah, I've got that.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
If you want to stay up there, just in case there's any other questions. I just filled out the paperwork real quick to cover us. Okay, our next street closure request is for the fireworks, and that's included in your packet. This would be for, obviously, July 4th, with rain dates of the 5th and 9th. I put on here Wood Street from Anderson to Tennessee. That's for the fireworks setup. I've requested noon to midnight. Likely it'll be later in the afternoon when the actual closure takes place, but we're still working with the fireworks vendor on safety. One of the things he's asked for this year is, instead of closing the street at the gate for the park, that we encourage people to walk down Anderson Street and come in the Anderson Street entrance instead of trying to come by the fireworks, because he's required to keep a safety zone around the fireworks. So that, and then should we need it, possibly closing Tennessee Street from Wood to Bloomington if needed. We haven't done that in the past, but I just want to make that request should we need it, so we don't have to come back. So
Do we need a
it's
rain-
been this is the typical street closure we do every year for fireworks. So,
Do we need a rain date?
It's on there.
yeah, we've got rain dates of July 5th or July 9th.
Let's hope we don't need either one.
It's not going to rain.
Make a motion, we close the street for fireworks. Let's have a firework party, July 4th, rain dates as documented on the request.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, please indicate your approval by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Thank you. And thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
And our next request is for the Center of Diversity and Inclusion. Please come forward and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm impersonating Joseph a second time. Hello, everyone. So we are going to have a Pride Block Party on June 25th from 12 to 8. We did it last year. It's Indiana between Walnut and Washington. And there'll be food. A local band is playing War Radio, which I think you're all familiar with. There'll be a bouncy thing, I've been told, and a DJ. And entertainment, and Joseph is working with JD Grove to contact local businesses to make sure everybody's in the loop and everything's taken care of.
This is open to the public?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm saying that for our
Yeah.
audience.
Yeah,
out
it's
there.
for everyone. We would love for you to come.
This is my district, isn't it?
I'll be glad to make the motion to approve the request.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second to approve the Center for Diversity and Inclusion's request. Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, please indicate your approval by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Great, thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
No rain date, so you're already saying there's not going to rain.
Yeah, we're going to throw up prayers, anything we can to make sure it's going to be dry for that, the 5th, all the fireworks. Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is department reports. We have several of our department heads here this evening, if anybody has any questions. If any department head wants to say a few words, they're also welcome.
I'd like to compliment Jason on the cemetery. It looks fantastic, and the Memorial Day program, I heard, was a big success, and
It was.
a lot of good things going on out there. Yep.
You know, if you're coming up here on your own, I'm going to ask you questions.
I'm not coming up to you on that.
That's all right, you close it up.
He escorted him halfway up.
I had to make sure I could get here. So we are holding our golf scramble for the Union Professional Firefighter Union, June 18th at Tiger Point. We're having 2 flights. We've got 1 team left, so we've got 17 teams, and we need 18 teams or 19 teams. We need 20. Can't remember, but we're having 2 flights. We'd love to see any community involvement that we can get, or we're also still seeking donations. It's for the Hoosier Burn Camp is what we use the proceeds for.
22nd annual.
22nd annual one.
So if we can't hit a straight golf ball, where can we donate?
So you can just drop it by the fire department at any time.
And who are the checks we have to?
Local 5125. Thank you.
Sounds good. As I've
Where would
mentioned,
people register if they want to play there?
So if you want to register, we only have 1 spot left to play in.
In a hurry.
Yeah, so we need the paid team application filled out to the fire department as soon as possible.
Okay, local 55.
I think the mayor has a copy of that.
Yeah, we dropped off a flyer here at City
yeah,
Hall.
I'll get it scanned in and mailed out to everybody tomorrow.
5125.
And Adam, you don't have to follow your own ball around in a scramble. That's the only time I ever golf. That's ball. That's perfect.
I have trouble getting to the hole at putt.
As I mentioned to these guys, when I golf, my cost per stroke is very, very low.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Any other questions for department heads or comments? Okay. Greg, do you want any marketing you need to do for parks other than what you've already mentioned?
I don't think so. The only thing I would say is we were hoping to start softball last night. Field was soup after that rain. We will first pitch softball on Monday night. We have 8 teams raring to go.
Good, great.
I had a gentleman show up last night, and I gave him a broom, and he swept the water trying to get it to drain. Actually made the field worse, but we weren't going to play anyway. I already had to cancel. They are chomping at the bit to start playing softball.
Good.
Is that the co-ed league?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I talked with a left fielder, a woman who's a left fielder for one of those teams. She's ready.
Okay, department heads are free to go. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Next is reports. Give a quick report here. I would like to remind council that the Ivy Tech Foundation reception is on June 16th at 5:15 p.m. Dave, I believe you're on that board, if I'm
I
not
am.
mistaken.
Yep, it'll be at Bridges.
So everybody should have gotten an invitation by now. Given their presence in the community, it'd be great to have a good turnout for everybody. Our Okra Water Grant, our bids came in significantly higher than expected in this crazy climate of construction. So we're working with the engineer and Christy Jarrell, our grant administrator, to determine next steps. 2 parts of work, the generator and the water line came in about $900,000 over engineer's estimate. So I don't have a recommendation yet, but we'll have one forthcoming. The Roban Park improvements also came in a little over $200,000, higher than the engineer's estimate. We're working with the engineer to look at any possible adjustments there as well. No new news on NDOT 231 or Locust Street, other than everything's been turned in so that hopefully we'll have bids back, not us, but NDOT will have bids back on August 10th. The assessed values for the county are being worked on. This impacts the discussion later in the agenda. County assessor expects to roll values to the county auditor by June 30th. getting started on budget work. We're working with the cemetery board to get a couple of new columbariums ordered. We're about out of niche space for that purpose. Unfortunately, it's like a 12-month lead time, so we're going to get those ordered so that we'll have them next year. YMCA project, work continues on that and looking at some value engineering issues. Still looking to be out to get bids in July. So that's moving, continues to move forward, kind of in the nitty-gritty of details. Working on some street and sidewalk potential projects, and also would like to, on behalf of INDOT, extend the invitation to members of City Council. I'll forward this to you. Just came in today. There's been a change of date, but INDOT will be hosting an open house up in Crawfordsville on July 11th. They haven't been able to do this for a number of years. In the past, I've tried to go just to kind of get updated on, what their future plans are, but they are available to answer questions about their programs and things, and they usually do a pretty nice job. So everybody's welcome to attend that as well. Questions?
My wife and I were downtown yesterday, and we sat by Old National Bank, and we watched all these cars and trucks just bouncing up and down on 231. I don't know whether they can come in and do some temporary paving.
They
but
were here about 2 or 3 weeks ago doing some patching, but there's still more to be done.
Man, it's really bad. Yeah. It's really bad.
It was not smooth what they put down.
Not at all.
It was better than what was there, but it wasn't very much of an improvement.
And we got to wait till next year for that to happen.
And the rain isn't helping anything, because that's part of the problem. The base doesn't dry out, and it just breaks up the asphalt.
Yeah.
Okay. Linda?
We actually had a perf audit this week, which we did pass with flying colors. So they came in and reviewed our wages and perf and all that. So that was about a day activity or half a day of activity, but that was good. My staff and myself will be at Clerk Treasurer School next week. So we are now all required to put in so many hours of schooling. That's held by the State Board of Accounts, so we will be doing that next week. So Melanie, Aubrey, and I will be in Michigan City, Indiana at Clerk Treasurer School. Next Saturday is Heavy Trash Day. So everyone, remind people that it's Heavy Trash Day. It will be out at Republic. We're kind of looking forward to trying it out there. I think that may be our future spot. Might be a lot easier for everybody. I will also make mention that I know at the last council meeting there was some discussion about trash downtown. Kenny, I don't know if all of you are aware, but Melanie handles all the trash complaints here at the city. So when people don't get picked up or there's continuous problems, Melanie is our main contact with Kenny at Republic. And so they are very, very aware of the problem downtown. Kenny said that he himself, Kitty is our representative at Republic for trash. He is making a daily swipe down through town to kind of start gauging trash cans and if we need to do more than twice a week, if we got to do 3 times a week. So he is working at that. There has been some issues with trash getting picked up in certain places, so we are working through that, and Melanie and Kenny are spending a lot of time working on that. So I want you all to be aware that Republic knows there's a problem, we know there's a problem, and Melanie and Emma are trying to work through that. So if you see any issues, trash issues, or think that they're not being picked up, just send Melanie an email that you've noticed, and she will get right on it. So she also takes care of all of our customers that don't put the right things in the recycling and things like that. Good news is we have most of our people are in compliance with recycling right now, so they're really happy with that. So we don't have a lot. It really doesn't take up as much time, Melanie's time, as it sounds, but I just want you all to know that we do have that connection, and we have kind of one contact point, and it so far has worked very well.
Thank you for doing that.
So she's kind of I call her our trash czar. So she takes,
Trash czar.
trash czar, she kind of laughs, but that's what she takes care of that, so, but other than that, I
You
think
want to
that's.
mention our yard sale? Our
Oh.
auction?
Oh, yeah, July the 16th.
Yeah, I think so.
July the 16th, we are going to have a city auction out at the cemetery starting at 9 o'clock. So we've got some real goodies that we're going to have, I think about 2 backhoes, quite a few vehicles that don't run, a
two big
aerial
ones up
ladder
front.
truck, you know. So we are having a surplus auction on the July the 16th at the cemetery. You'll start, if you drive by the cemetery, you'll notice that things are going to start accumulating out there, but we promise that they're only going to be there for a short period of time, we hope that they'll soon be belonging to other people. I hope that's not means that they're going to be set in someplace else in Newcastle, but anyways, we are going to be having a surplus auction. You will be seeing we'll be running an ad or a couple ads in the paper, talking about that, so.
And lots of gas-saving appliances, otherwise known as bicycles.
Yes, we have, oh gosh, I don't know how many trailers of bikes that will be hauled over to them, so we are going to have lots of, and I've been told some of them are pretty nice, so, with the price of gas, we might need some other means of transportation, so there's probably going to be some really nice bicycles in the auction to be bid on.
These are just abandoned bicycles?
These are abandoned bicycles that we have had for years that have been stored in our street department, and we are able to auction them off.
Let's get rid of them and make room for, use that room, I'm sure, for
Well,
other things.
Some of them have to be kept a certain amount of time
Right.
because of
Just to make
statutes and
claims.
stuff like that, so.
There'll be more information out about our city auction.
Okay. Yard sale.
No, it's an auction. We have an auctioneer that's coming to do that. That's how we have to do it a certain way legally
Sure.
to be able to get rid of
Yep.
things. And we are trying to sell our aerial truck, so that may not be in the auction, but I am working with John to try to sell that aerial truck, because right now we're still owners of that.
Yeah, we thought there was a good chance that another community here in the county was going to buy it, but that arrangement fell through, so.
That would be so good, because I'm going to have 2 aerial trucks.
Yeah, well, that's what we were hoping. With a couple of other older trucks, they went to other departments in the county, so they still continue to benefit the county, but
That's not the case.
this
So
didn't work out so well.
Okay.
if anybody here's anybody that wants an
Aerial truck, yeah.
I mean, part of the problem is it really would be a backup truck because it's at the end of its
Life cycle.
insurance service life,
Right.
but it's still a good vehicle.
It runs and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's been overhauled.
We
so
maintained it
it's-
well, and, yeah. So, I talked with Lori yesterday, and I hoped that we would have had something to report on the redistricting, but nothing really has happened over since we last met, I guess the last 4 weeks or whatever. So, she told me that she would, if, under my direction, she said, if you want me to contact the guy in Martinsville, as well as down in Knox County, she says, I can do that when I get back next week. So she said she'd contact me either Monday or early in the week. And so we hopefully will have get something moving on that. So that's about the only update I have in that regard. Nothing else.
I got a couple, but first I got a question, Mark. What about the size of the council? Because we can shift it. Is that going to be,
I think
is that a separate issue?
That is a separate issue. Well, it's not really something that we have to, we could elect to leave it at 7. We could also go back to 5. So I think that's something that we, as a council, need to think about. Just without, and then we can come together and have part of that as part of the discussion in the redistricting. And what I would envision if we went back to 5 would be what we had before, which is still four wards, but only 1 at large. So be thinking of that. Thanks for bringing it up. As far as what what your desire is and everything else. I mean, obviously, if there's only 5 council members, then we're saving on payroll. So there's quite a bit of savings over
Not
10.
much, come
Not
on.
much. But over 10 years, it doesn't amount. I had it calculated. I think it came out to be $170,000 over 10 years.
Over 10 years.
Because it's 2 council member salaries, plus their FICA and Medicare, times 10.
I bet it's
So-
140,000, because you guys get close to 7,000 now.
And how much did we spend on an aerial truck?
Yeah.
How much are we spending on police equipment and cars? Come on. Good Lord.
So, there we go. See, I've got the what did the appetite? So, anyway, we'll probably have that as part of our discussion in the redistricting plan. But we definitely have to get the wards balanced better. So that's the main focus, obviously.
Okay. School board, everything we'd love to do. And again, I want to state for the record that to the best of my knowledge, we do not have the authority to make the school board an elected position. That would have to come from the school board or from the citizens creating a petition to the school board. The decision to appoint the school board is not within our jurisdiction. We are required to appoint people, but inevitably when we do this, the speak-outs, the people in town will ask, why don't we elect it? It's not in our jurisdiction to make that change. We ended up, I've tried to be as transparent as possible. I've been slamming people with emails, but I know that this is a lightning rod issue around the country. We ended up with 4 applicants, not 3. One of the applicants went to the junk folder, but we verified it was in on time. So we're including that applicant. What I'm proposing is that we meet next Wednesday. Mark and I have been talking. He's on board with it. We meet next Wednesday. We'd start at 6 o'clock. We legally could do an executive session, cut it to 2, and then re-interview again, but that's just a lot of malarkey. We'd interview each applicant. The way we would do it is be about 45 minutes per, which is going to create a 3-hour running council meeting. We can adjust that time. We can take it down to 30 minutes, whatever you want. Each applicant would have a couple minutes, 4 to 5 max, for an opening statement. Each applicant would have about 3 to 4 minutes for a close. That'd give us about 30 minutes, 35 minutes to ask questions. Each council member might get 1 question in that period. And we just go through, we'll ask the applicants, but we cannot require them not to be present for each other's interview, but we cannot require that.
But we can ask.
I've already told the applicants we would ask that. Mark and I, before the meeting, picked an order, very scientifically.
Very scientific.
Pulled scraps of paper. But, I mean, it's random. So I will let the applicants know the order. You all should have the things. The question that comes then is, can we make a decision that night? If not, we would need to come back for a special meeting. We're going to run into some time constraints, because Dave is out of town the week of the 20th. And I'm a little unclear of the law on this.
No, I'm not out of town. Cody is.
Cody's out of town the week of the, sorry.
We're all there. I say it's fresh in our mind.
Yeah.
Let's make a decision
Okay.
that night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's plan to.
Then we're not, the only other option would be to advertise for another special meeting, but then we'd have to cancel the special meeting if we made the decision that night. I'm not sure that's legal. Might not, I wasn't able to reach Lori. Pardon me? Linda's a little unsure.
I would think if we would have to advertise for a special session with the point being to make the decision that night, so I would think you would have to
I agree.
go ahead and do it that night.
Well, if not, we would table it, but that would then push us into a 48-hour notice, so we would not,
Wednesday night, which puts us into the next week.
right. So understand, if we don't make the decision that night, we're going to be pushing it to the next week by the time we get our notices done. Does that make sense? Hopefully.
Unless you advertise it ahead of time.
Right, but that's the part I'm not clear of. Because if we advertise it ahead of time and then we make the decision that night,
You won't be able to make it that night, you're just going to have to have a meeting.
Okay.
my recommendation is we just make it. And if we run into a problem, we'll just postpone it.
I only have 3 resumes. Can you send the 4th one?
Okay.
Yeah, I think I might.
I will resend all 4 resumes
Good.
in one packet tonight or tomorrow morning. Are we okay with that? I mean, I'm open to any other suggestions. Okay.
Thank you, Adam.
All right, and all the candidates know each other's names. It is public. The packets are public if people want them. They can write Linda, they can write myself. You're free to give them out to people. My understanding, those are all public records, what they've applied, so. All right. And we will be done with this for 2 years.
For another 2 years.
Unless somebody resigns.
No, we don't get it.
That's right. We don't do
it.
That's right. You're right.
Right, if they resign, it goes back to the school board. So we will be done with this.
Which is how we got Russ to begin with, and I think also
Brian?
Brian, I think, was an appointment after a resignation.
Yeah, Brian would be up again.
Yeah, but I mean, we've since reappointed him too.
Right. And all the candidates have been very easy to work with, with no problems. And I will give one quick prop. One of the candidates we had a bad email on, or I had it translated and it didn't translate right, and it went to somebody in California. Normally when I get emails like that, I ignore them. But this person actually wrote me back.
Really?
And said, this email looks official. It's not me. I thought that was very commendable.
Yeah.
So.
All right, I'd like to quickly remind the council that next month we are meeting a week early. We're going to meet July 7th. It was in the minutes, just mark your calendars, folks at home, just because we had a schedule conflict. So July 7th at 7 o'clock.
Can we do it earlier? Can we do it at 6 or 6:30? Because I have to be someplace at 7:30 that night. Now, maybe you'll have a quorum and, I didn't have my calendar when we set that.
That would be fabulous.
I can do it earlier.
I don't have a problem.
Yep.
6 o'clock?
6 is fine. Thank you.
Not an excuse for a longer council meeting, though. Not an excuse to make the meeting longer.
Well, he's leaving.
Yeah, but I'm for the rest of us.
6 o'clock.
Let's
July
make sure it's
7th,
radical.
6 o'clock.
Is it
Yep.
6 o'clock?
6 o'clock, July 7th.
Let's make sure Veronica knows. Linda, you'll take care of posting the school board?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, I will. That will get posted tomorrow.
thank you.
Nothing to report from me, Stacy, unless you're done.
I'm done, yep.
Nothing to report.
Lori's not here tonight, but I want to encourage the council to drive by 105 North College Street. It is unbelievably horrible looking.
Yes.
I think it's a place that should be shut down, and I'd like to have a chance to talk about with Scott Zimmerman and Lori Hardwick about what our legal options are. I think the home is uninhabitable. And I know it's not, Sue and I were out for a walk and we went by this and I sent it to Scott and he's been trying to deal with it. But I'd like to know what our legal options are, because it's right across from Pershing and Company, their parking lot. And it's, whew.
It's public access.
I will tell you, I was involved in the last home demolition. It is a slow process, so,
This is a relatively new home, probably 25 years
yeah,
old.
but it's still,
Scott has been working on it. It's been,
Yes,
it's one
he
of
has.
one of our problem properties, and I know we had it mowed a week or so ago, and we actually instructed the mowing team that we used to move as much stuff into the backyard as they could so they could get it mowed, but since that time, even more stuff has appeared in the last week.
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I asked Scott, I went by there myself the other day, and I asked Scott, is this guy getting ready to have a garage sale or something? No such luck.
I think there's a sign up by the public sidewalk that says moving sale or something.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, it's
It's
like couches and stuff like that with,
clothing,
Yeah.
all the stuff is ruined because it's been in
it's
the
all been out in the
rain.
rain. And then there's
They
just
put
trash
plas-
bags up
they-
against the.
They put plastic over some of it since the last time I was there. I went by there today. It's,
Or it was, when I first noticed it, they were putting like cloth, cloth over the, it's like, well, that's just gonna get soaked, and they put some plastic over, but there's been trash bags just sitting against the foundation of the house. I mean, it's a attraction for rodents and snakes and.
I know it can be a long process to get a place taken down or whatever, but this is clearly not livable, and the legal question is, can you declare a place, inoperable, uninhabitable?
We received some information from a neighbor the other day that led us to believe that it might not be habitable, so we've been researching that.
And I was surprised because I hadn't been aware of it going on for it, and I go by there pretty regularly. I just, obviously got tunnel vision when I'm driving, I guess. But I think Scott indicated he'd sent his first violation letter on March 29th. Yeah, so April, May, over 2 months has gone by. I think he's up to his third letter, getting ready to send the third letter, and there's fines involved already.
And we have money in the demolition account.
Yeah, we have money to do mowing and stuff like that.
No, we have money to take houses down.
We do.
Well, the next time they do a hearing,
At least clean up all the personal property and get it taken to a dump.
the next time they do a hearing, I would encourage council to show up. The hearing is the end of a very long process, but it is kind of interesting to kind of hear. The one you were going to do got canceled, right? So you
No, we ended up, well, I think it got settled.
It's settled, right.
But we did have a hearing. It was in March, I believe,
Yeah, so,
or January.
That's all I have.
That's definitely on our radar.
Good.
blow it down.
Carol, nothing?
I've just had an exciting June so far. I want to thank everybody for prayers and cards, and I made it.
Well, we're glad to see you again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, next item of business is approval of the minutes of the regular session of May 12th, 2022.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as presented. Any further questions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed or abstentions? Next is approval of city claims. I think Dave was in earlier this week to review the claims.
We have payroll of $495,997.79. We have pensions of $18,508.98. When it comes to the direct payables, a total of $166,329.59. The biggest expenditures are Bonavita architecture on the YMCA and medical office building at $72,111.40. We also have a street department truck that came in at $32,430.25. It replaces one that was totaled last year. And then the usual Republic Services charge of $41,895.50. On the council claims, we did a renewal of our workers' comp at $8,343. Hendershot's maintenance and repairs on 7 police vehicles totaling $84.72.11. A new mower for the park department at $65.39. Marcy tree and stump removal totaling $4,650, and that was in the park, Big Walnut, and J.C. Park. Park Department Spear Corporation, and this is chemicals and maintenance work on the pool, at $24,948.62. And then we have the park bond at $52,150. And then T-shirts and hoodies for our lifeguards, totaling $23.56.85. The total is $146,831.95, and I make a motion that the claims be approved.
I'll second that.
We A motion and a second to approve the claims as presented. Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, please signify your approval by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Okay. We have no old business. We have some new business. We have 3 items under new business. First item is first reading of ordinance number 2022-3, an ordinance amending section 9-11 of the Greencastle City Code approving water rates and charges. Whereas the city of Greencastle, Indiana owns and operates a municipal water system and collects rates and charges for the use of and the services rendered by said water system pursuant to IC 8-1.5-3-8. Whereas the Indiana legislature repealed the utility receipts tax, previously IC 6-2.3, which affected Greencastle retail water customers, and passed House Bill 1002 requiring utility rates to be adjusted to reflect the removal of the tax. The utility receipts tax did not apply to contract or wholesale customers, and no adjustments to those rates is required. Whereas removing the tax will result in the reduction of 4 cents per 100 cubic feet of water used by retail customers. Now therefore be it ordained by the Common Council of the City of Greencastle that the enumerated water rates and charges as set forth in the Greencastle City Code, Section 9-11, be amended and read as follows. Section 9-11, monthly metered water rate schedule. And the table involves monthly consumption and rate per 100 cubic feet. First 2,000 cubic feet, 2021, 4.92, 2022, 5.13, 2023, and after 5.45. Next 8,000 cubic feet, rate per 100 cubic feet, 3.23 in 2021, 3.67 in 2022, and 3.90 in 2023. Over 10,000 cubic feet, the rate per 100 cubic feet would be 2.61 in 2021, 2.97 in 2022, and 3.16 in 2023. Contract users wholesale, 2.78 in 2021, 3.01 in 2022, 3.20 in 2023. All other terms and conditions contained in Greencastle Code 9-11, which are not specifically amended herein, shall remain in full force and effect. This ordinance shall have full force and effect upon passage of the Greencastle Common Council and its approval by the mayor, and the above rates shall become effective July 1st, 2022, and includes proper signature lines. So, Linda, I'll turn the floor over to you to provide a brief explanation.
The good news is something is going down. So, water customers have not realized that they've been paying this utility rate tax that we've passed along, that we, that's just what we've done with the, and so the Indiana Code, they have repealed this tax, and it's 4 cents of that tax is what we charge in our rates. So we're reducing it by 4 cents. It will become effective in the August bill. That is the bill that reflects July water. So everybody's going to see a little bit of a decrease in their water bills.
Very modest, I'm sure.
Very modest.
50 cents or less.
Yeah, it's about a $35,000 tax that we've paid every year.
Per year.
In total, so, it's not big dollars, but 4 cents is 4 cents. It's not going up, so.
We will do the second reading of this ordinance by title only next week at the
Special session.
special session.
I thought that we were not having a rate increase in 2023.
We are having one.
We are.
It's not as large as what we were.
Okay.
Because we did get the grant money.
That's what I thought, because we got the grant money. I thought we weren't doing a third tier of increases.
No, we have one, a slight one.
Okay.
Just notice, though, when things go down, there's no crowd.
Except for Nate.
So,
Entertain a motion?
I so move.
Stacy seconds.
We have a motion and a second. Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, please signify your approval by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Okay, we'll have that on the agenda for our special meeting next week. The second item of business is ordinance 2022-4, first reading, an ordinance amending the Greencastle Planning and Zoning Ordinance by amending the zoning map. Petitioner is Charles W. Pengleton and Lori A. Pengleton. We need to table this because we actually need to advertise it as a public hearing, so we will pick this up in July. It's still within the window that we have to take care of this, so we apologize for the error. So I will entertain a motion to table.
So moved.
No formal action,
You don't need, because it never got off the table?
Huh?
Because it never got off the table?
Yeah,
or-
we're not taking any
Okay,
action.
all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
No formal
So we will include that on the next agenda.
Never introduced.
It was never introduced, never made
action.
it.
We're not going to introduce it.
Okay. Next item of business is the annual TIF request letter, and that was in your packet. It's basically our usual form letter. It has to be turned into the county by June 15th. So in the past, council has recommended capturing 100% of the available increment. So Redevelopment Commission met at the end of May and basically said, we'll go along with council and recommend 100%. So we need a motion to agree with the letter, and we'll get that submitted to the county.
I'll move to agree with the letter and continue to cap the TIF capture rate at 100%.
I'll second.
Say that right?
We have a motion and a second to approve the annual TIF request at 100%. Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, please indicate your approval by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Okay, that concludes our business for the evening, unless there's...
How do we come out on the scholarship?
A certain young Mr. Hardwick was awarded that scholarship at the awards banquet, or awards ceremony at the high school the other day, and I know young Mr. Hardwick, Eli, and as well as his mom and dad are very appreciative of everybody's support. Now, just for benefit of the people at home, City Council, none of us here at City Hall have anything to do with the award. That's taken care of through the high school, so we have no influence over that.
Right. No. But we do know there were a lot of tears.
Yeah.
Because I did have to text and remind her that when you cry, you dehydrate.
She was hydrated well.
Yes.
Mr. Hardwick will be matriculating to Indiana University this fall.
Bill, you referenced our passing something by title only at our special session. Is that the school board interviews, or is it another session?
No, the water rate reduction.
At the July meeting?
Oh,
No,
July
The
meeting.
thing we just passed now.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to get that
We
done
need to
before
get that
July
done.
1st.
Oh, we do, okay. Okay, so we will do it at the special session?
Yeah.
At the special session, it will be
Okay.
on the agenda.
You're sending us all four applications
I
will send
together.
all four
When is the special
applications.
session?
Yeah,
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
This coming Wednesday?
Coming
Yeah, Wednesday.
The one for the school board will have one item of business on it,
Yeah.
is what they're saying.
So we'll take care of it, probably first thing off the bat, 30 seconds, because it's title only, and
Right.
move on.
Okay.
That starts
Okay.
at 6 o'clock.
I will
I have a
entertain a
6
motion
o'clock start.
to
I so move.
Second.
A motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. We may still be on YouTube for a few minutes, so